doing? Okay, Speedy. USA clock change. No, I wasn't aware. So have you gone forward or have you gone back? You've gone. I'm assuming you've moved forward. So I've missed 45 minutes of trading, have I? Okay, maybe. Let me know what's going on. What have I missed? What have I missed? I thought market was moving quite quick. Okay, so where am I? Forwards or behind? Let me see. Let me see. So normally that's at 1:30, isn't it? So am I an hour late? I suppose I am, aren't I? Okay. Oh well. Okay, let's zoom in here anyway. Find out what's going on. Let's have a look. Okay, market open. I can't remember what happened last year. I don't. Well, obviously because I wasn't streaming, it probably didn't have much of an impact on last year. So okay, we move forward an hour. Okay, so it's 1:15. Okay, so my stream needs to start from 1:30 in future. Okay, so I'm 45 minutes. I didn't know that. I thought somebody would have mentioned or something would have mentioned it. I don't know what's going on. Okay. All right. So, okay. Hope everybody is well. Okay, so I'm on my PA accounts this morning. I'm trying to cover as much information and leave as little as possible. Now, I did do a trade earlier. And for summary, I don't know what's going on with this trade copy here. I did a triple test. We had one leg up, 2 legs up. We had a triple test, so I did a short there. Now, I jumped in. Something didn't trigger, so I right-clicked and cleared it. Market retraced a bit, so I got in again. So I don't know what's going on with the trade copy. But I got $183 on one, $54 on another. So this trade copy is beginning to be a bit of a pain in the arse. So what I've done is I've just copied everything. So I'm doing 2 contracts on each. The plan was to do 1 on one and 2 on another, but just something doesn't seem to like something. So I'm just going to be very particular in my trades and just stick to 2 contracts. I do kind of like the way you get out that safety zone quicker. And once I can get up to maybe a few $1,000s or something like that, $3,000 or $4,000, and I'll drop down to just a flat, a flat 1 contract. But I've got to say, I don't know whether it's me, but I don't seem to have a great deal of luck with this trade copy here. I don't know what could be causing so many problems with it. You didn't really miss much. Okay, yeah, it is going quite sideways, isn't it? So, okay. Speedy, how you doing, mate? Dylan, how you doing, Dylan? Lead loser, how you doing? Stephen Black, 10:19 Eastern. Right, okay, so... obviously then guys come in a bit early, don't they? Of course, yeah. Okay. I'll keep that in mind for tomorrow. I can't remember what happened last year. But because I wasn't streaming last year, then it obviously wasn't so much of an issue. I just sort of figured it out. But I can't remember. So we'll see anyway. We'll see what happens. At least I know now anyway. So you were all sat there waiting, watching where the hell I was. Okay. Okay, let's see what happens anyway. But yeah, we've had that bit of news there. I was at the computer when I noticed that bit of news, and we had 1 push-up, 2 push-up, and I took that triple test, which worked. Went for about 7 points, I think, but this trade copy is just causing me such a nightmare. I just think I'm going to have to trade the 1 account and just take what I can off the others. That's the only thing I can think of. It's a ball ache. I will say that. How you doing, what? Just a quick question. Do any of you guys use TradingView for anything? Because I got approached by a company to sponsor the channel from Prime Charts. I don't know if you've ever heard of Prime Charts. I just thought I'd ask. They offered me a monthly fee. Not a huge amount, but just just to sponsor the channel, just to put a 30-second clip on it on the stream. I just wondered if you'd heard it. Prime chart. And they work with TradingView. I used to use TradingView when I used to trade currency, but the thing is, I just assume, how you doing, Sam? I just assume most of you guys use NinjaTrader, don't you? But I dare say there is some other traders in the background that might just trade the S&P 500 that just watch. I don't quite know. So let me sort of see what's going on. I don't think there's any type of a... It seems to be sort of a couple of levels, but... I thought there'd been quite a lot of movement, I gotta say. Right, let me just have a... hey, Scruffy, how you doing, mate? Let me just have a quick look. See if we got a chart yet from Mac. Figure out what he's put. Let's have a look. No, not as yet. Okay, we'll just play it by ear anyway. So we seem to have sort of like a couple of levels, haven't we? A little bit of sideways. We've had a couple of pushes up. I think that's that, isn't it? Right. Actually, trading a bit early will help me out a little bit, actually. We done me a favour. Okay, looks like we're getting a couple of legs up here. I'm just going to have to play this as I see it. I don't think there was anything specific there. Not that it really matters now anyway. One leg, two leg, one leg, two leg, one leg. I used TradingView a couple of times before, but I use Renko more. Yeah, I got another trader mate of mine who started using Renko charts. Well, TradingView. It's called, I'll tell you now. Wow, aren't the cryptocurrencies booming at the moment? I had a long trade on Bitcoin, which has made me a few quid. Currency markets, people are chucking money into currency because of the issues with a couple of the banks. People are losing faith in the banks. I often wondered at some point, will people start to turn away for banks? In my opinion, the banking industry is the biggest con known to man. Everybody sticks all their money in it. They make absolutely millions and millions and millions. We stick all our money in it, get nothing back for it, and they invest our money, have great lifestyles, fancy buildings, fancy offices, and we get bugger all for it. So I just think it's a big con myself, the banking industry. And I think the banking industry is going to struggle unless they don't start offering something a little bit more competitive. Even so, I mean, I've moved away from mainstream banking to online banking now. I use a couple. I use Revolut and Monzo. Excuse me. You get much better offers, much better deals with them, cashback and that. Not just that, they're very quick to open. They just seem to be putting banks to shame at the moment. So I often wonder whether the mainstream banks are going to have to sort of up their game, otherwise they're going to start losing people. But I know a lot of people have chucked money into cryptocurrency in the last few days because Bitcoin's just had a massive pump. Good morning. Insurance sucks too. Yeah, but that's just, I mean, you know, you think how many people have money just sat in banks doing nothing, making nothing for them. What do you get at a bank now? 1.25% if you're lucky. What's inflation? We're just losing money having it stuck in banks. Obviously, they invest your money, make a fortune out of it, have nice lifestyles, massive big bonuses, fancy offices, and we get nothing for it. Market's looking a bit messy today. It almost looks like a spiking channel, that, doesn't it? Tell you what, let's go with the tops and see if that helps us. Yeah, does look like a spike in a channel. We've had a break out the bottom, pushing up. That's why I like to come in a little bit earlier, but because I've does look like a spiking channel, doesn't it? That sitting along the midline, the tops of it. So let's leave that there for now. Let's buy the buy now anyway. We've moved on. We've had a push up, a little bit of sideways. So at least the news is all done and dusted. We got no more news today. %3 here on some online banks. Yeah, it's about the best you get. I know I'm with excuse me, I did bank with Barclays Bank. You get about 1.25% if you're lucky. The online banks. Well, I've actually moved over to Revolut, and the beauty about Revolut, if you have the, I think it's called, is it the Steel account? Cost me around about $12 a month. I can have unlimited free currency exchange at market price. Now, because obviously money I'm earning and I've earned is in dollars, it doesn't cost me anything to exchange, whereas my bank charged 3%. So you have $2,000. It soon mounts up, doesn't it? That would have cost me £60 or $60 just to transfer that from dollars to British pounds. It's ridiculous. So I saved myself £60 just that, and it cost me about $12 a month. So it's so cheap. Okay, so let me just move that down there. So got a measured move here. One leg up, two legs up, a little bit of sideways. So we obviously seem to be having some form of an upward movement, but it's not very clear at the moment. Messes the whole thing up, that, doesn't it? Kind of works that, actually, doesn't it? Kind of works that. Probably a bit early to start doing that, but well, that's given me a bit of an idea of where we are, where we may be going. Let's get rid of it for now. I kind of like how it fits, but sometimes it can give you a little bit of a... I mean, there is a possibility we could bounce and come back down and we could range, but we are moving up at the moment, so maybe trade what we're doing rather than what I think we're doing. So. Okay, there's that measured move played out. Right to the tick. Let me just see if there's a bigger measured leg and give me an idea of where we're likely to go. It's quite hard to do this, to be honest with you, because of that big spike. Even if we took a measured move from here to say there, and then brought this from there. We've actually overplayed that one. So that's not really helping me. Just have another look. See if we got a chart from Mac yet. Sorry about that. Let me get rid of it. Nothing as yet. Quick question, guys. Has anybody got a larger trend channel going there? Is anybody... has anybody got something on the lines of that? Incidentally. Actually fits really nice, I gotta say. Tell you what, let's change the colour a little bit, see if that makes things a bit clearer. Okay, I kind of like how that's fitting. Let's pull this out the way because it's a bit confusing. We got push up there, push up there. One leg, two legs. I think we're definitely moving up within this channel. Touches there, touches there. Obviously, I'm not too concerned about that because of that news. Touches there. So it's confirmed in 3 places. A couple of times there, a couple of times there, a couple of times there. It's fitting nicely here, touches nicely. I'm not too concerned because of those spikes, because of the news. But that, I think, looks okay to me. I just want to know that I'm still looking for things like longs anyway. So, okay, so that's played out. Just wondering, because of the banking, people are throwing money into cryptos at the moment. I just wonder whether they're putting money into the indices as well. Which would explain why we're having a bit of a... Well, it might do, it might not, I don't really know. But I'm by far a finance guy. I just wonder. We got yesterday's highs up there. Incidentally, guys, we still have this offer on at the moment. I believe it runs out on Monday, I think 80% off. Any size Apex evaluation, and which continues for every month that you trade the evaluation for. So if you take over 3 months, it just costs you that same every month. I got a code there. I get a small kickback, as most of you know. I only put it there because it doesn't cost you anything extra. So if you do use it, or you have used it, I have had some lately, it's greatly appreciated. So we've had this trend. We've had 1 leg, 2 legs. That seems to be sort of a couple of legs back there, doesn't it? Near enough. After this, see, I wonder. Let me put that there to there. Let's have a look. I'm not so sure. Let's get back in here anyway. Okay, short-term trend, we've had a break. Looking for a possible new low. What I don't want to do is get into a long here and get trapped in case it does come back here. That is a second entry long, but no height left. What trade did I take? I took a triple test back here. Well, I took 2. Something didn't trigger, so I right-clicked and flattened it all. We didn't have any of this, then we just had 2 legs up and a triple test. I right-clicked and flattened it, and it retraced a little bit, and I jumped back in again. Not ideal, but we just sort of sideways at the moment. We had 2 legs up. Came down about 5 or 6 points, I think, in the end, but I just panicked and got out. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of the trade copy, I've got to say. I think what I'm going to have to do is trade the one account, let the rest get copied, and just take what I can from them. That's anything I can do. Right, second entry short, which is triggered. This might be a failure, but it's just way too far from the EMA for me to even think about going along. But we have had a break and a new high, so technically that's played out. So second entry short, which is triggered. I know some which might take that, but it's just in the middle of nowhere. That's the trouble. It's a second entry short and it's a failure as well, but I'm just trying to be a little bit safer, so I'm just going to let this go. I don't like the fact that it was there anyway. If I was going to take it, I wouldn't have taken it till it broke above there anyway, and it took out what shorts may be in there. So yeah, I've got 2 PA accounts and an evaluation at the moment. Started a new evaluation, I thought. Well, they're cheap at the moment. Okay, to me, this is a failure as well. There's probably going to be a couple of lots of shorts in there, so this is a failure. And if it does break up, it'll probably take those out, but I just don't like it. I just don't like what's happening at the moment. There'll be some shorts in there. There'll quite likely be some shorts in there, maybe trying to pick a top. So, failure, possible second entry long. Incidentally, no trading for me on Friday or Monday. I'm having a long weekend away with the family. Okay, there's a failure. Second entry long there.
Order submitted.
Nah, there's something I don't
Order
like.
cancelled.
We're going a bit sideways. I don't like these 2 doges. I'm just going to let this go by. I mean, we're clearly going up at the moment, but at some point... what I was looking at was this. A couple of pushes, but it's sideways congested, so you just don't know. Sometimes when it'll do this, it'll get some traps. See, there have been some shorts there, no doubt. Certainly some shorts there, maybe taking the lower low. If that breaks above it, might trap some. But then if people are taking this, it might come down. And sometimes you can get these, well, as you know, these multiple traps side by side when you get this. Are we going up? Have we topped out? Are we coming back? I don't know. I can't even work out where a measured leg might go to. So if it does break above these, I'd say it's likely going to push higher, but you just don't know. People may jump in here thinking we're going long that may get trapped. Hey, Growl Daddy, how you doing, mate? See, the only thing I can see at the moment, leg-wise, is from here. I can't see where there'd be a leg from here to here because it's more than played out that. So maybe we're not really getting legs, a bigger leg. Maybe we are, but it's not an obvious one to me. Everything seems to fit within this, so we're certainly moving upwards. There's no argument there, but it's not always that clear. And before I get into a trade, I want to be a little bit more clear about what's going on. Okay, so I thought when we come back we're likely to push higher, but there's no real setup there. Second entry long, but it's a doji. There's two dojis. There's a couple of short traps, so you just don't know what's going on. There's a higher low, but it's right to the top of the highs there, so there's nowhere to go there, just in case. There's second entry long, but two dojis. I mean, we've got a pretty good idea that we're moving upwards, but I've just had to change my whole attitude towards trading. A lot of it, I suppose, is certain to a degree. I suppose we all try and experiment a little bit, don't we, on new things, but I've got to start treating this like a business now. It's just got to be sitting and waiting patiently and take a good setup, and that's it. End of. Nothing more complicated than that. And if I'm not sure, excuse me a sec. If I'm not sure what's going on, I just have to leave it. So I've got to just slowly build these accounts now. Otherwise, I'm going to spend the next 5 years doing this same thing, taking stupid trades. So I've just got to wait for a setup that just waves their hands at me. In fact, we catch you guys up soon. Yeah, our clocks go forward on week Sunday, early hours of Sunday, so the 26th. Yeah, so we've got this week and next week, and then we're back with you, back in line with you. We go forward. I had a funny feeling you guys went forward at the same time as us, because I can't remember what happened last year. Yeah, I'd say it's likely we're heading up to these yesterday's highs. There's a couple of one leg, two leg, a little bit of sideways, one leg, two leg. That's a bit better. Yeah, it just seems like a two-tiered channel here. We start at the bottom, pushed up along the top, a couple of legs back, and we're pushing along the bottom now. So we seem to be at the bottom of the top at the bottom. This channel looks right to me. Oh, it's out now, is it? He usually sends it via email, doesn't he? So I'll just check mine. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So let's adjust this. So he's got his starting from, yeah. There's a bit of sideways there, isn't it? Is it that bit or that bit? So I have one push up, two push up. Yeah, it's from here. He's taking his from here. Okay. Yeah, right to the bottom there. And there. Okay. Yeah, that looks okay. Yeah, okay. So let's just adjust these legs. That's a little bit clearer now. So, let's maybe take that from that. So let's get rid of this. Let's take this across. So if we, it's hard to see where we're going from. So are we going from here or are we going from here? We've had this break. Let's go from here. One leg. That's sort of one leg, two leg, isn't it? Let's concentrate on this section up here. Let's remove that. It's messing the chart up. Yeah. Yeah, he's got his going from there, isn't he? Yeah. Okay. It's actually quite a lot. There's quite a lot of volume today, I've got to say. There's a lot of volume. Okay, so touch. Okay, that's how Max got his. Yeah, okay. Okay, so that measured move played out. So let's remove that. So this channel, we've had a break. A few pushes up to a new high. Possible hidden second entry long, but this is actually played out. The bigger trend's played out. This is played out. So, and we're quite close to the top of this, so it's not really something I want to think about going along there at the moment. Second entry long. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that's come down. So we've had 2 pushes up there from the bottom. Let's just move that up a bit. From the bottom of this channel right to the very top, 2 legs back, and we've gone from the bottom again right to the very top. See, we would think then we may have 1 leg, 2 legs back here, something like that possible. Something like this, 1 leg, 2 legs. Okay, short-term trend channel break, new low. Yeah, I would expect to have something like that, and like 2 legs. There is a second entry long there, which is triggered. Let's say we're almost definitely going to come down here. I've changed my from currency, the count on my trades from currency to points. I'm going to focus more on points and try and get rid of the money out of my view and concentrate on points. You could say that's a hidden second entry short. Technically, we've had a break out of that, and we've had a new low. Okay, possible hidden second entry short. We're an uptrend, so I don't want to be taking a short there anyway. Not only that, it's sitting right on that midline. Do I think it's coming down? I'd say it's probably likely. Going to take points. The trouble is we're in an uptrend, so it's just risky. I generally try to just take longs. If it breaks above there, I'd say it's likely going to trap some traders. But do I want to go long here? I don't want to do anything at the moment. You could say that's sort of like a second entry long. That one does break a touch, but it's just risky. Hence that bar sitting sort of in the middle. I think if we break, I'd say there's probably going to be some shorts there. But if we break above that, then I think. But I don't know what's going on at the moment. It's just a little bit congested there. No, it's not my full-time job, Sam. I work weekends. I work quite long hours, Saturday, Sunday, but I do trade it full-time, Monday to Friday. Oh, you as well? Yeah, good on you, mate. Where are you from, Sam? Are you UK? Or are you US? I think the lucky thing about trading in the UK is general markets trading starts about 2:30 in the afternoon. So even if you did an early shift, you'd still have time to trade. I changed my job initially till I was starting around about 4 in the morning, and then I could come home and trade straight after. But I know in the UK there's a massive shortage of HGV drivers. That's what I do, Class 1 driver, iDriver. And that's what I sort of do, main weekends, although it's been a bit quiet lately. But you can earn £25 an hour on weekends, and you can work all the hours under the sun. You know, I generally do a long shift, 14, 15 hours Saturday, Sunday, and you can earn more or less a full-time wage there. So I get some from some commissions from the evaluations, and I've had a payout, so I get by okay. But obviously, this is my sort of passion, what I want to be doing in the future. So I'm just trying to commit everything I can to it. I think with this type of job, working as a trader, it takes such a lot of commitment and such a lot of time and work and effort. You've got to have a real thick skin. You've got to be able to take knockback after knockback. So for me, I've always been an all or nothing kind of person. If there's something I want, I've always sort of gone head first and done everything I can to get it. I sort of have two ways of thinking. If I'm learning something that really interests me, I absorb it like a sponge really quickly. Whereas if it's something I have to learn but it doesn't interest me, it just goes in one ear and out the other. I really struggle to pick it up. But if it's something that interests me, I generally tend to do okay at it because of just my enthusiasm. I'm a bit sort of obsessive like that. I've always been a bit wired and the obsessive type. If I want to learn something, I just literally, some nights I wake up in the night if I don't understand something and it just goes around my head. So I have to get on the charts or the computer, or if something's playing on my mind. So it can be a bit of a burden sometimes, but because of the time and effort and that it takes to be a trader, I think you need to be a little bit of the obsessive type. The type that really, commits, because you need one hell of a lot of commitment when you learn this job, I've got to say. Congrats on the PAs. Thanks, Tyler. Did you go for lifetime, monthly? I went for lifetime, mate. And I'll tell you why. All I need to be doing is trading in a month's time to save money, because you pay the initial $85, I think it is, and if you can manage to stay a month on a PA account, you'll be paying another $85 in a calendar month. So if you can manage to keep a PA going over a month, you've already saved money. So it's not that much extra. I think it's about extra $55, I think. So it's not a huge amount. And as I say, once you get past a month, you've got your money back and you've saved. So and not only that, you can, if, let's say, for instance, I had a rough patch, and I was chatting with Wilson day before yesterday, and he's having a little bit of a break from his PA accounts because he had a reasonable, substantial loss in a day, and he believed that it's affecting his psychology. So he's taking a break from his PAs, which I think is an absolutely decent thing to do. Personally, I think Wilson will do really well because he's got the ability that when things get tough to just take a break, whereas it's taken me a little bit of time to force myself to do that. But he thinks it's affecting his trading at the moment, so he's taking a bit of a break from the PAs, and that's the beauty about the one monthly payment. You can take a week or 2 weeks off. Doesn't matter. You're not left with that constant monthly payment. So he's got 20 accounts. Now, if he was paying $80 on each account, that's $1,600 a month. So you're forced to earn some money. But if you pay a one-off fee, you can walk away for a week or two, get your head clear. So that's what happened on my last PA account. I managed to get it up to a little bit over $7,500. But I probably got a bit too confident, and what I should have done was, when I had 2 losses, my new rule is if I have 2 losses in any one session, I pack up for the day and walk away, because something's not right, whether it's the market's tough or whether it's me that's finding it hard. And I didn't follow that rule. I got a bit confident, thought, I'm doing okay now. I don't need rules like that. And that's where I went wrong. So a few words with Wilson, and he's got that. He's quite in control of his psychology a little bit more than me, and he's decided to take a break on it, and he's absolutely nailed it there. If something doesn't feel right and you've got that little, the way I can describe it is that knotted upness. So when you take a big loss, sometimes it can stay with you for a while, and as long as you've got that feeling bubbling inside, I think you're making a mistake carrying on trading. I think you should take a break because, I mean, he's built his account up quite nice, and the last thing he needs to do is to keep trading with that frustrated feeling, lose some more, and end up. So it's much better to take a break for it. Whether you go on a demo or I believe he's got a few. Did he say $300,000 account? So he's made a good decision and just clearing his mind a bit, and it'll keep his accounts live because ultimately. Your PA accounts need to be everything, your be all and end all. You need to focus on just keeping them alive because as they build, you'll start to be able to relax at some time once you get them built nice, and then you've got a nice safe buffer. Then you can relax a little bit and focus on your trades. But while you're building them up, there is a little bit of it's a little bit tough. It can be. Let's have a look. My thoughts as well. Yeah, I agree. Keep it up. Get used to the strategy. Feel confident. Keep a log of things. Good luck. Yeah, thanks, Sam. Wilson is the guy I asked about yesterday night on Facebook. Yes, he was, mate. We did have a little chat, didn't we? Yeah. That's him, yeah. He's okay, Wilson. He's a really nice fella. I've had a few chats with him. You always get a lovely reply. And I think he'll do really well. I did say to him, the way he comes over and his attitude towards trading, I think he's going to make himself a lot of money this year. But he's a nice chap. Most of the time you trade after closing the stream. Yeah, sometimes I do. It depends, but I'm trying not to do that now. Sometimes if it's been a frustrating day, there's not a lot. Sometimes I'll just sit quietly but I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. It depends how much control you've got. If you're sitting and taking just good quality trades and that, but for me at the moment, I think although I have had some okay trades, but I think the sensible thing for me to do is to do my usual 3 hours here. I mark my charts up, post them on Facebook, and then I set my stream for tomorrow. Then I'm going to start shutting down and walking away because I need to limit my time on the screens because it can be quite stressful, especially when you're trying to build up again, because I've been here before and I felt another level of stress when you're actually managing to build some money. You've got something to protect. When you're taking a stupid risk on an evaluation that's cost you $33, it's not, there's no real deterrent, strangely enough. And I get it when people say they get a little bit behind and they take a silly risk and try to get a bit lucky. But take it from me, it doesn't work. It might work 1 in 10 times, but you'll chuck so much money away, and that's what I've done, and I'm starting to learn it just does not work. Sometimes you need to bang your head against a wall enough times to realise that it bleeds and nothing changes. You're going to continue to bleed, and you're going to continue to bleed all your finances away. So I think you're naturally going to take some risks initially when you start. Try and cover your mistakes and recover your losses, but it does not work, I assure you. And even me saying these words now is helping me, because sometimes you need to be reminded. It's very easy to tell other people your mistakes, but sometimes you're blinded by your own science in a sense. Sometimes it's very easy to see others' mistakes, but you don't tend to see your own. So there's no point in limiting yourself to 2 consecutive losses. Well, you know what it is I got my account up to a little over $7,500, and I lost $2,300 in one trading session. I picked a top very quickly after the markets opened, and it went up again and did the same thing, and I took another short, and I lost twice, and that sent me on a bit of a frustrated path. Until then, things had run quite smoothly. I had 18 green days in a row. I think my smallest was 130 $30. My highest was about $1,300, and I'd had a good run. And sometimes I think losing that much in one day, it just knackered my psychology, and I never recovered. The only way I'd have recovered from that would be to take a week or two off. But there's nothing worse than getting back to the chart and having that desperate desire to get your money back. As long as you've got that when you're trading, I think you're on a rocky road. So a lot of people, a lot of traders I speak to, if they lose two in a day, that's around about the $650, $700. If you're trading two contracts, they walk away for the day because something's not right. Whether you're taking risky trades, because there's so many different parts that go into your trading day. You know, if things aren't going right at home, or you're a bit frustrated, or you're a bit tired, or there's something on your mind, or you might be in a bit of a mood, or a bit short-tempered, or a bit snappy. There's so many things that can make you, that affects the way you trade. But it's hard to sort of work it out yourself how you feel. So my belief is, and I've read this many times, if you lose two in a day, something's not right. So sometimes, and I've heard this said by many of you guys, live to fight another day. See, I would say, if you look at the stats, if you lose a trade, I think the chance of you losing another one soon after jumps dramatically. Because, you know, especially when you're still quite an inexperienced trader like me, you naturally got that thing inside you that you want your money back. And you'll tend to drop your standards and I often do it myself. I take a loss and I take another one within the next 5 minutes. So I think if you take two in a day, I think that can be quite damaging. And I think really you should finish for the day and then come back tomorrow afresh. And if I'd give anything now to be able to replace that $2,300 loss I had with a $700 loss. I'd give anything to have that back. So sometimes you've got to make these mistakes, and you've got to have these lessons rammed down your throat again and again until you start to listen. And it's weird, isn't it? You know, when you're kids, you tend to not listen to your parents, don't you? And you make stupid mistakes. And then when you get older, you know, and maybe in your normal job, someone says to you, this is how you do it. You listen to them. But with trading, because of the psychological side, it works very differently. It's not as simple as someone telling you what to do and you do it. It doesn't work like that. And I think was it Martin Keychek, is that his name? Martin Keychek. He sent me a message and he said it's all about forging you into a trader. And that's the best way I've heard it described. It's like a form of forging. You're being molded, you know, you're bashing, you're banging, you're walking down this alley and you're hitting both sides. You know, I suppose it's like, you know, when you're inexperienced and you go down these, what do they call them? The luge or something, you know, the Winter Olympics, and they're bashing each side and they're tipping over. It's going down this rocky path, and you're constantly finding problems, and hopefully when you come out at the end, it molds you into, you know, like a trader, or someone that thinks on the lines of a trader. Yeah. Revenge trading, that's it, Nick Ross, yeah. Bad habits die hard, yeah. I mean, you see, I was a military family. I had two fathers in the army, and, you know, we lived down the south of the UK in Winchester. And we lived in an army bank camp for a couple of years, and we see these young 17-year-old lads coming in with long hair and unshaven and scruffy. And you see this sort of 26-week period where they're slowly being moulded into a soldier, that they can all work together as a team. And I suppose it's the same sort of thing. It's a form of moulding and forging. You've got to make all these mistakes again and again, and it slowly gets that brain thinking like a trader. Excuse me a sec, let me just kill my dogs a minute. Sorry about that. Kids are out of school and my dogs are barking. Let's have a look. Ooh, I have the feeling that you're talking about me. I would say, mate, I'm talking about all of us because we're all in the same boat. We've all experienced things. So, I mean, some people learn quicker than others. I'm a quick learner when I learn things, but the psychological side, I mean, I think I do okay at the chart reading because that's a learning process. But with the psychological side, I found it particularly hard because I'm very much ruled by my emotions. But, you know, some people, I've got a friend of mine, he gets up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning, runs out for a 3 or 5 mile run, comes back, has a shower and a shave, has his breakfast, goes to work. He's very focused. He does the same thing every day. And some people are very much in control of their lives and themselves and their emotions. And people like that, I don't think do too bad at it. But I've always been run by my emotions, so it's taken me a little bit longer to learn, really. Okay, we've just literally bounced off yesterday's high, literally to the tick. So, you know, I wish there was a setting that if you lose a trade, it blocks me out. Oh, mate, I tell you what, I've thought of that so many times. What you can do, and I've done this before, you can set rhythmic to kick you out of a trade if you hit a certain loss. The only downside, you can go back into rhythmic and stop it and click the button back. So if you're revenge trading and you've got that fire in your belly, all you got to do is open rhythmic and just cancel it, and then you carry on. So, but yeah, it would be nice if you could fix something that says if I lose over $500, it kicks me out the market until the market opens the following day, you know, or 12 hours or something like that. Oh, yeah. Trouble is, I can't see Apex implementing that. Can you? Apex makes such a lot of money off people failing. And I know it sounds harsh on their behalf, but, you know, it's a business. They're in it to make money. But, yeah, it would be nice if you could have something that if you lost, say, $500 a day or 2 trades a day, that it wouldn't let you take any more trades for, say, 12 hours. That would be a great bit of software. In fact, if we got any buzzing programmers out there, I think they can come up with something like that. I'd pay a few $100s for that. Yeah, consistency and repetition, that's it. It is a numbers game. The more you do it, the better you get at it. It's like most things. So, yeah, okay, short-term trend channel break. New 2 pushes up to a new high. We've bounced off right at the top of the channel. I'd say this is probably going to come down. So right at the top of the channel, and that was yesterday's high. So I'm guessing we're going to get a little bit of a pullback, whether we come back to the EMA or whether we come back to the midline or whether we come back to here. But I'd say we're quite likely going to be coming down here. Now, some may short that, but we're in an uptrend at the moment, and I've heard Max say so many times, don't counter trend trade. Can set, yeah, you can set a loss limit. The unfortunate thing is, Lucas, as soon as you hit it, all you got to do is open rhythmic and cancel it, and you're back trading again. And if anybody's like me, and I suppose most of you have, once you get that fire in your guts, it's very hard to switch it off. You know, a lot of people say walk away, take a break. But you try dragging yourself away from that computer. It's almost like, and I've spoken to a buddy of mine, it's almost like someone else is trading. And there's a word for it. There was a psychologist. There's a word for it. What's it called? It's not displacement. It's called dissociation, where when you get into so we've had that lower high, but it's counter trend trading going into the EMA for me. It's called dissociation. What happens when you get into a period of stress, anxiety, fear, panic. You like switch yourself off. You dissociate yourself from your emotions. And all the sort of rules and everything you've learned goes out the window. It's called dissociation. I do follow that lady on that lady that works with traders called Creda. I believe she's from Southern Ireland. Yeah, it's called dissociation. And it's like anything. We've all, been in a punch up as young lads, haven't we? And, you go in there with your fists up, don't you? Thinking you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And all of a sudden, panic sets in and you start swinging like a crazy man. And all the plans and all the rules go out the window. To hell with, you just go for it, don't you? And that's the power of emotions. They just take over. There is a second entry long there, but I really don't want to be going long into the top of this. So I'm going to let this go. But yeah, emotions are very powerful, aren't they? Anybody who's been trading, anybody that's traded any type of money or risk or anything will know exactly what it feels like. And I believe, in my opinion, the only way you get around that is just to keep exposing yourself to those emotions. And I think at some point you just start to get used to them and then be able to manage them. But it can take time. If you still don't listen, then the apex drawdown limit. Yeah, well, I'll definitely kick you out. Absolutely. Yeah, and the downside with having these cheaper valuations, you're risking $33. So if you took a couple of stupid losses and went down $1,000, and I've done this myself, it's very easy to double up or triple up or just keep it in the, maybe take more contracts and just go for broke. We all know what that feels like, because I would say we've all done it. And you go for broke and you're thinking, okay, so I can either pass this and get back in the green, or I'm going to lose $33, which in honesty, it's not a lot of money. But all you're really doing is reinforcing silly risks, and it's not the sensible thing to do. I think you're ultimately going to do it. Some people grow out of it quicker. People like me tend to do it a little bit longer. But I believe if you fail again and again and again, I think at some point you're going to realise it just does not work. The only way that works is if you sit there and wait for what you genuinely believe to be a good trade and don't take anything less. And now it's very easy for me to say that when I've struggled so much with it, but we all know the answers, but adhering to them is very different. But I believe if you keep trying and you still have that desire to learn and get better, I think at some point you'll start to get used to those emotions and they won't have such a grip on you, and you'll start to be able to manage them better. I mean, I feel different now when I'm in a trade than I felt 12 months ago. 12 months ago, I felt like I had a vice gripping around my neck. I felt my heart pounding out my chest. I could almost hear my heartbeat. But I don't feel nowhere near that now because I'm more used to it. But I mean, I used to, after a trading session, I used to feel physically exhausted, even after 2-3 hours. And it's just those emotions. Yeah, I mean, I don't suppose it would be difficult to put some sort of piece of software involved that if you took 2 losses, or that let's say you lost $500 in a day, you would be kicked out for 12 hours. But I can't see, I can't see how Apex would react to that, because they make a lot of money out of people failing. And it does sound a bit harsh on their part, but you know, if people do well and make a lot of money, they're pleased about that as well. It's not all about failure. But obviously it's part of their business model that's part and parcel of it. And if we're, you know, us as traders are prepared to, you know, pay for that, who are they to turn us down? Okay, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, make a cup of coffee. I'll be back with you soon. Okay. Possible second entry long. Do I want to go long here? Not really. I'd say it's probably likely going to go higher, but we're right at the top of this area here, so it's also a little bit sideways and congested, so I don't really want to be involved at the moment. This isn't clear. Clearly not trend, no argument there, but we're right at the very top. Usually when we get to the top, or the furthest part of this, same here, when we got here, we came back. When we got here, we came back. Now, it's not to say we won't push higher, but it's risky going along right at the top. It's also sideways. What I will say as well, if you got any sort of newer guys in there, something I'm starting to do is get to your chart a little bit earlier, maybe 20 minutes earlier, and do some relaxation and some breathing techniques just to get yourself into the right frame of mind, a little bit of meditation, whatever you want to call it. And also I listen to affirmations as well. There's a few I listen to on YouTube, and they're basically recordings of someone saying that it's almost to encourage you to do well. So you know, it'll read you some things like, this is your job with a potential future with unlimited potential, but you need to sit there and snipe. You need to follow the right track. You know, all the good stuff. But listen to some positive things that get you thinking in the right frame of mind. You know, be careful. Pick your trades. There's all sorts of different affirmations. There's all sorts of things. I go to bed, listen to them sometimes with some headphones on. There's lots of different things out there you can listen to, but just almost like a pep talk before you know, if you're about to, if let's say, for instance, you're about to run a marathon, if you get some fitness freak jump in front of you and says, you can do this, you know, all that sort of stuff. It just gives you a little bit more focus and just reminds you of what you need to do. So I would certainly incorporate something like that into your daily routine. I think a lot of people do some breathing exercise or a little bit of meditation and just get yourself in that right frame of mind. But I think it's also to remind yourself what a massive opportunity you have if you just play the game properly. You know, you don't take silly risks. You sit there patiently and wait. Know when things aren't working right, and when your patience isn't particularly good, maybe walk away, take a break, or take a day off. But I think it's important to remind you whether you do it or someone else does it with one of these affirmations. But it's important to keep reminding yourself what a massive opportunity you have. You know, what the potential is. My chart's second entry long formed, and that was high low, nice 2 points. Yeah, see, for me at the moment, we're going sideways, and there's only, I mean, we're talking 4 points from the top to the bottom, and not only that, we're right at the top of this chart. And for me, it's not always the best place to go long. We're in an uptrend, so it's not somewhere I really want to go short either. Now, if we had a second leg and pull out of this down here, then I may take that because I've got some room then. I mean, it could go higher. It might go higher, but we're right at the very top of this chart. And if you look back, what happens when we got to the top? We came back down. What happens when we come to the top? We came back down. So generally, in an uptrend, you bounce off the bottoms and bounce off the tops. So there's a new high. Second inch long. So yeah, there is a second entry long, but it went to the top. So yeah, you'd have squeezed 2 points out of that, but I tend to go for a little bit more, and there's no guarantees it's going to get right to the top. And if I'm holding, it starts to come down. Yeah, so sometimes it's just best. Yeah, there is a guy I found on YouTube, and he said this is a recording I made for myself 5 years ago or 3 years ago when I was having problems. And it talks. He's got a lovely, clear voice, and it's recorded nice. And I put my headphones and listen to that. And it's really nice to listen to, actually. And it gives you, just helps you, you know, believe, and it helps you make the right decisions. Yeah. You know, it's just like a pick me up, isn't it? What I don't know, whatever you call it. See if I can find it. This helped me. This does. Trader affirmations. Oh, I've listened to these. Trade while you sleep. Play these when you sleep. Which one is it? I don't know which one it is now. And there's also Mindfully Trading as well. She's another girl from the UK. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff on there. This is it. So I don't know if you can listen to this. See if I play it, see if you can listen to it.
Please thumbs down this video.
No, I can't listen
and close
to
it immediately.
For
those of you who are struggling
through,
with discipline, self-control,
I can't hear it because I got my
managing your emotions,
speaker switched off.
please put on some headphones.
It's just got Trading Psychology, a message from yourself, meditation, stroke hypnosis.
You are a disciplined trader. You are in control and focused at all times.
Now,
you are calm and patient. You are humble.
It's like a voice from yourself.
Markets.
What should you be doing?
Tread cautiously, but with confidence.
Yeah, I'll listen to that for a few seconds.
Cocky degenerates are part of the 90%.
Second entry long here.
You are part of the 10%.
Do I want to go long there?
Sit on your hands and snipe with a kill shot.
No, not at the moment.
Be selective for that one good trade.
Yeah, this guy's quite good.
Move slow.
Just if you search, it just says 2023 Trader Psychology, and then a message from yourself. It's just something he messaged himself. He recorded for himself when he started. When he was
There's nobody standing
over
your shoulder.
Great to listen to this. It puts you in a good frame
of
mind.
You are your own boss. Would you fire yourself for trading this way?
Lasts for about 5 minutes.
Day trading is a serious business.
That's it there.
This is a dream job with unlimited potential.
So I'll cut it off now. I won't play.
Would you rather work in a cubicle? Be mindful. Never be careless.
That's it.
Always be self-aware.
Okay, second entry long. Almost bounce off the midline. Most breakouts fail. I don't really want to go long here, to be honest with you. We've bounced off this side 3 times. We've had the shunt and trench, and we've had a break. 2 pushes up to a new high. Try to go once, try to go twice. No, it's not somewhere I want to go long. It's hard to listen to anyone. Oh, sorry. But have a look. Look it up. It's there. If it's on the internet, if you want to have a look. Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah, you were trying to listen to that and me, but I was just making a point of it's there, which is why I dragged it into the picture in the end. So, but it's good to listen to. It does help you. It's good to get into the right frame of mind to trade. I think it's important. So, this is what I expected. Let's have a look. We came back here, didn't we? We had a bit of a pullback. So we had 2 legs back. We came straight back down there and pushed straight up. So Second entry long, but that is still in this channel, so it's risky. Yeah, absolutely. Frame of mind, ready to trade, can help you in leaps and bounds. It's good to get a little bit of a lift, a bit of a psychological lift. Some people, as I said earlier, some people are very focused on life. I'm not really. Sometimes I need a little pick me up, but I do whatever it takes. If I got to listen to someone telling me how amazing I am, then I'll do it if that's what it takes. Okay, so that to me looks like a break and a new low. Shorts and central. Some of these breaks are very small, and if you incorporate them, they can get you into all sorts of trouble. I've dragged it over before and captured that, and then still thinking we're going low when we already have done so. $300 up. Good on you, Lucas. One trade. It's more than enough for me. Absolutely. $300 a day. $6,000 a month, that is. You can get that. Imagine that on 10 counts. That is some serious money. So the potential's there. You don't need a lot, do you? I mean, if you can get $200 a day, an average of $200 a day, that's $4,000 a month. You have that on 10 accounts and you take half of that, $2,000 a month. You've got $20,000 a month, plus your account is still growing by $2,000 a month. So the potential's there. But I am trying to focus less on the money and more on the process. So I won't talk about money anymore. All in Sam. How you doing, mate? Yesterday was amazing. I had 2 trades pre-market. Did I get about 18 and a half points yesterday? That put me about $300 over each of my evaluation limits. I couldn't believe it. Two of the best trades I've seen. I've never had a pre-market like that before. Yesterday, no, it was just pre-market. I get the chart from yesterday. It was just, we had 2 lovely pushes down. It just looked beautiful. Yeah, that was my chart yesterday. Started off here, 1 push down, sort of 1 leg, 2 pushes up, another leg. I had 7.75 points there. They just went down red straight away. And same there as well, at 11 points. Just how nice does that look? 1 push down, a couple of legs back to the top, another push down, 2 legs within that one. It looked beautiful. Took that failure there. In fact, I think Mac and I think everybody took those 2. Certainly that one, that obviously they were pre-market, but I know everybody took that. They had exactly the same channel and everything, but that's by far the best. 18 and a half, 18 and a quarter points, but by far the best I've ever had pre-market. And it was a little bit slow, actually. It's just been tough trading lately, and I think I had both my valuations. It was day 7 yesterday. I think my valuations were around about $1,700, and I had them 2 moves and smashed them. So I had to take my daughter to the dentist tomorrow, pick her up early from school yesterday, which is why I never traded. But as she was getting ready, I was looking pre-market, and those 2 beauties dropped in front of me. What a great way to pass your... in fact, they would have been nicer today, actually. Okay, so we had the short-term trend chart. We've had a break, and a new low. Now, I don't know what you guys think about this. To me, that's a break and a new low. Some people think it's actually got a break and then come down again, but to me, that's a break and a new low. But not everybody thinks like that, and in some cases, it still comes to the EMA and makes a new low, but we had it there, didn't we? Short-term trend chart, we had a break and a new low. Didn't come back to the EMA, just pushed straight up through it. Sorry about that, my daughter on the phone. Okay. Okay, there's that measured move. One leg, two legs. I'm going to get an order ready because if it's a small risk,
Order submitted.
I might take this because we've had that measured move. We come right back to this side of the chart. See how it finishes up. No, okay.
Order
If
cancelled.
it was a small enough risk and I could get an entry, I don't mind risking a point on that, but it was no good anyway. You shorted there. Did you? Oh, you're braver than I am. You shorted here as well, didn't you? You're a braver man than I am. Yeah, I suppose it's not as important. If you're only taking a point, it doesn't really need to move much, does it? I mean, literally half the... Yeah. I just can't do a point anymore. Just used to cripple me. That's working up nice, that is. Trading time, not one single trade. To be fair, mate, there's not a huge amount available, to be honest with you. So if you haven't taken a trade, I'd say you've done your job right. There's nothing I can really see. I mean, we had one leg, 2 legs down. There was a bar there, which I looked at. Trouble is, I'd rather it bounce off here and get something above the EMA, but it worked. It wasn't a massive risk. I did look at it. Actually, it was less of a risk than I thought. 0.75 says 2.25 point risk top and bottom, so that wouldn't have been a bad one. 1 leg, 2 leg, off towards the bottom of the trend. But I don't know. I'm trying to be a little bit particular, but that wouldn't have been a bad risk. Apart from that, there's not a huge amount I can really say. A huge amount available. That looks like a couple of legs down, but are we going to come out the bottom? Sort of looks like a couple of legs. 1 leg, maybe sort of, I don't know, somewhere in there, possibly 2 legs. It looks almost like a hidden second entry long, doesn't it? I'm tempted to take this out, not now. It's too massive. think I'd rather push up and take the higher low or the failure above the EMA. Yeah, it's a big old bar, that. I mean, it's quite a positive bar. Trouble is, these trends, you've got to break at some point. You just don't know. This could be one leg, two legs. This could be our break. It's hard to say. Looked like a lovely bar, didn't it? But risky, risky, risky. I did think about maybe taking buying it down here, taking a small risk, but that's pretty bearish to me. Yeah, I'd say that's almost definitely going to get stopped out. Yeah, okay. It's going to break at some point, see. Let's have a look. One leg, two legs. I did consider maybe taking something here, but it's just, there's something I don't like about it. I don't think there's any type of a channel down here, is there? Possibly. One leg, that looks like two legs to me, so let me just get rid of that. One leg, two legs, let me remove this. One leg, two legs. Yeah, it's going to have to push back in and get something, maybe a higher low. These are the types of bottoms that I'm avoiding buying. I mean, one leg down, two legs down, you tend to think, break of a trend, we're going to push our way back in. Well, we might trigger, come back down a bit more first before we push our way back in. I've been caught out so many times on those. Okay, so we've had this trend literally started 1300 hours, 13, 14, 15, 16, 3.5 hours ago, and we've been going up trends. This is our first break. This to me looks like two legs. So taking this long here, it's a second entry long. Now you could push back into the channel, but to me this looks like two legs, and I'm just a little bit unsure about this. Yeah, we're likely going to push back in, but we might not do it straight away. So I personally think that's a bit risky, and it's not something I really want to get into. Looks to me like there may be two legs down. It just looks like it. I'm not saying it's not going to push up, but sometimes the trend can pull you out of trouble. Yeah, that looks like it's going to make two legs to me. It just looks like it. I'll be surprised if that doesn't get stopped out, and if it does, then I'd say that is, and then I'll try and catch it then maybe when it starts to push back in. But I'll be shocked if that doesn't stop this out. Probably going to be quite a few longs there. That's a second entry long. It's almost like 2 legs as well, but I think that's risky. That looks to me like it's coming down. Or it could be a failure that's triggered and it's going to push back in. That could work. Or it could be a double trap. You might take that, it might trigger and then come back and trap you. That's a lower high, sorry, a higher low. But it's a bit congested here, so this could be a double trap. It's going to take this out and then it's going to pull back. So I'm not on anything to do with this. The only time I'm going to get interested is when it bounces off here and starts to move up. But for me, that's my target. This looks like a leg down and another leg down. I'd say there's trap city here. There's probably going to be some shorts there, which is triggered. And if this pushes up and triggers above here and this ends up being bullish, I'd say that may trigger as well. So this is just risk for me. But I'd say let's break out of a trend. I'd say second entry long, there's almost definitely going to be some longs there. It's weird, isn't it? So many times you can sort of almost work out what it's going to do. Just you know, from spending so much time staring at the charts and looking at patterns, you almost know what it's going to do. You certainly know more than, you know, maybe you're going to know 60%, 70%, maybe a bit more, but we can always sort of predict what it's going to do. The frustrating thing is, as soon as you think it's going higher, it might trigger, come down, make a tick or two below, stop you out, and then push higher. So that's the trouble, isn't it? Because we scalp for such small movements. I tend to go for a little bit more, but my stop is always the same as everybody else's. And that's the trouble, really. It can get you into a bit of trouble, can't it? And if we all had deep pockets and said, well, buy here and put a stop down here, then, you know, but it's also going a bit sideways. So there's definitely some uncertainty what's going on there. I mean, the trend often can get you out of trouble. And in this case, if you took that, it looks like it's happened. But I'm hoping maybe there might be some shorts going to be trapped in here no longer. But it's just something I wasn't prepared to risk because it's sort of floating in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing really the side of it. There's a big gap here, so there's nothing to compare it to really, and that looked like 2 legs to me, so I wasn't prepared to take anything unless it was down here. If you look what's happened here, we've had this push down, and it's hit this a couple of times before it's come down. So we've had this push down, it's hit it once, it hit it again, it still may come down to here. I wouldn't be shocked if that comes down to this measured leg, because it came down, it went sideways, and it come down, which is sort of what it's done. Come down, bit of sideways. It could come down again. I don't really want to get involved here. If I've got doubt, something doesn't look or feel right, then I have to act on that. Now, if it pushes strongly in and then makes a failure, then that might be a bit different. But there's our first entry. But it's weird how to me it's just stopped right short of that. So there's so many places it can trap you here, and then it just comes down, take you out, and everybody else out, and then off it goes anyway, in the direction you sort of knew it was going to do. What would be nice is a bearish bar here and a second entry short to drag some shorts into that, because at the moment we've got an uptrend. So if we can get something bearish, I mean, it might just carry on. That's the trouble sometimes, the trend's your friend and all that. But that to me was just a bit risky. Okay, this is what I was hoping for. See, for me, there's a trend. There's no overshoot that I can see there. Come on, finish bearish. Can't see any type of an overshoot. Everything works fine. See, let me just remove this a minute. There is two separate legs there anyway. So there's one leg there, another leg there. Granted, it's not, in fact, it's not far off actually, to be fair. It's not a huge amount off there. One leg, two leg, one leg, two leg. So just because it didn't come down here doesn't mean it's not finished its downward stint and it's pushing higher. One leg, two legs. Correction, one leg, two legs. We can get a failure, but I want it to come down here. Then I consider now's the time then to go long. I don't think we're going to get it though. We're just going to rock it up, I think. Unfortunately. Come on, break down below here. That breaks down below here and triggers, then I'll be inclined to go take the failure then. Come on. Second entry short trap. Come on, come down. Down, down. No, people are getting smarter. They're not falling for it. You took the down channel as a spiking channel, did you? Excuse me. me just put that on my legs back. Hmm. Well, it's gone slow, hasn't it? So what's going on here? Okay. Yeah, this is our first break. Maybe we are going to have 2 legs down. I'd expect if we do to at least retest the tops of the channel on yesterday's high. Trouble is, you just don't know. It could just keep coming down. It's definitely fitting. Nice touch there, not too bad there, not too bad there. Nice touch there, okay there. Touches a bunch of times at the top. So that's a nice trend. There's no argument there. Weird price action. Yeah, it is a bit. I think it's obviously the liquidity's dropped at the moment because there's probably some uncertainty in what we're doing. I mean, usually in most cases you have a break, we have a new high. But to me, this is a little bit of a channel. Although it doesn't necessarily mean a massive amount. It could still go higher. But to me, there's a couple of legs down. And we got some uncertainty. Are we going down or are we just finishing the leg before we go up? It's just a bit of uncertainty. We had sort of pushed down and, you know, people think, okay, we're pushing back in, and then we pushed back in, then we came straight back out. So we're bouncing sideways again. What are we doing? What are we doing? Are we going back in or are we coming down? I'd like to have moved down to at least get this second leg. And then if we start moving up, then maybe I'm thinking about considering a long again. But at the moment, I'm just not trying anything. It's just I'm a little bit unpredictable at the moment. Yeah, absolutely. In a lot of cases, the correction's slightly to the downside before they have another leg up. So yeah, it could come down here before it goes up again. Quite often see that. You know, we may come down here before we end up seeing something like this. You know what I mean? Short-term trend channel break. It's sort of, to me, it looks a bit like a hidden second entry short there, but I'm just not sure what's going on, so I'm not prepared to go short. It's 11 ticks as it is, ain't finish it. You know, you would, I mean, usually when we have a break in a new low, this to me looks like a hidden second entry short, but it's just, I don't know. It's what I think whatever you take around here at the moment is a bit risky, unless you're scalping a point. You may deem it okay to go. Point's a very small movement, isn't it? It's dark for one of those, so. But you just don't know what's going on at the moment. This may be back in. It's come down. Well, if you look at this, it's sort of retested this. It's tested it a few times, this bottom line, isn't it? Hasn't quite made this measured move. So maybe we're on our way back in. I don't know. It's just unpredictable for me. Yeah, it's definitely holding prices here, isn't it? So it's struggling to get through. We've had this push down and a touch here. Tried a bit lower here, tried again, tried a bunch of times and strongly bounced off. So this is an area where it may decide what to do, but I don't know what's going on at the moment. It's just it. I think this is likely a correction of some sort. Okay. Perhaps we are coming down. That's come down very sharpish. Okay, well, there's the answer. I did say we'll see what's going to happen when he gets to it. See, this could be some form of like a triple test. Once, twice, three times, but I don't know. I don't particularly want to go long or short at the moment. It's just getting a bit unpredictable. I'd say there's quite likely going to be some short, some long trades there. So we may get this measured move. I think if we break below there, then I think we should see this measured move play out. You could call this a triple test. I don't know just how strongly that came down. For me, we're moving down at the moment. There's a triple test there. Once, twice, three times. Nice big bar, nice bar. Two legs down. EMA's facing down. It's just, you know, it might not be a terrible trade, but for me, I'm not comfortable with what size it is. 3 1/4. It is a triple test, but I don't know. Things are pointing down at the moment. Big, strong rejection off the bottom of this channel, so I'm not comfortable with that. And I think if that gets below that, that's seriously going to trap some long traders, then I expect maybe we may start to move down then. It is a triple test. But just if you're in that trade, I would be panicking about now. Because there'll be some, there's likely maybe be some still longs still in there. So if we get below this line, we may just, there we go, quick sharp push down there. So that took out some longs there. We've touched this measured move right to the nearest tick. So let's see what we do here. But it's starting to look very bearish to me. Which is why I'm not, there's a second entry long there. Very tempting to go long there. Second entry long, broke out the bottom of this channel, but I don't know. There's just, it's just a little bit volatile now. There's some quick sharp movements to the downside, so I don't want to, I'm not thinking long at the moment. I'm thinking sitting on my backside and leaving one alone at the moment. I mean, that may work up nice. But for me, EMA's pointing down, this channel's moving down, everything's looking, there's a lot more red around. See if this triggers. It is a second entry long. It's sort of out the bottom of this, but I ain't having nothing to do with this. It's a risk. It's a risky trade. I wouldn't be shocked if it triggered and came down again. It has made that perfect measured leg though, which is what I was hoping for, right to the nearest tick. So perhaps it's a way up. Who knows? But I just don't like the look of this. I mean, it may trigger and rock it up, but I don't know. I'm not so keen at the moment. It hasn't triggered that second entry long anyway. Yeah. It didn't trigger anyway, but yeah, I'm not thinking long at the moment. We've broke out. It's had a couple of opportunities to push up. It hasn't. It's got in so far and it's been rejected. It got to the bottom of the line. It's been rejected strongly. So I'm not thinking long at the moment. Let's have a look what's down here. There's quite a lot of sideways stuff down here, but just, yeah. I really didn't want to get suckered because I dare say there's a lot of people going along there. There'll be some longs there, which is why I had a sharp push down there. There may have been longs there, but it didn't trigger. So, but as soon as we got below here, then we had that quite strong bearish bar. Came down quite sharpish. 3.5 points, boom, straight away. So that was obviously, there's likely going to be, I mean, you know, we've had a break of this channel. There's people will be looking for areas to go long. That was one of them. That was another area. I'm surprised it didn't push down a bit stronger. It may have done if that one would have been triggered. But that never triggered because that would have been possible fail second entry, a second entry long, fail second entry long. So if that would have triggered, I think that would have come down a little bit sharper. But I mean, that is the overall trend. But we've had this push. We had a break, 2 legs to a new high, correction, another push up, break, up to a new high. Then we've gone a little bit sideways, moving. So this may be the way down now. Doesn't necessarily have to make a new high. We could make this bigger channel disappear, and all these other trend channels are played out. It just happens that these are within this bigger one, but it doesn't mean it can't start to come down straight away now, or it may come down for a while and then it may, so because we've had quite a strong push out, it may correct a while and before we go up with another leg. But I'm not prepared to go short here, and I'm certainly not prepared to go long. I mean, we have flushed out a lot of longs here, haven't we? So, you know, perhaps now it may slowly work up. It's certainly not. I mean, once it taken out those longs and it bounced off that measure move and came down, I mean, it could have started really coming down, couldn't it? But it hasn't. It's stopped and it's trying to push up again. So I think maybe we might make a We just needed a bigger correction. We may, you know, we may move in another channel, slightly different. Yeah, it's looking quite strong, isn't it, that? So, we've made a new low, first entry. I just don't know whether I can bring myself to go long after all this. I mean, that's clearly a downtrend. So, but the measured leg has played out, but I don't know. I'm just not confident going along at the moment. I'd rather it push strongly and start moving this way, in this direction, before I started considering going along in that lot. And I'm happy. I'm happy if we don't get any trades. I've done my job. Sat here, watched, wait for good setups. As far as I'm concerned, we haven't really seen any. We had a triple test, which I took earlier. Market went down about 6 points in the end. I took a couple out of it. Well, a messy couple over a couple of trades. Something triggered, something didn't. So I flatlined it all, and then it retraced a little bit. So I jumped in again. I didn't want to miss the opportunity. So I don't know what's happening here. I did one at 50%, and that's the another evaluation. That was at 50% of that, but I don't know what's going on there. But okay, try to go lower once, try to go lower twice. Possible failure, possible short failure. Do I want to go long here? No. Not yet. Definitely not yet. I've got to get my head out the clouds and constantly thinking every time a channel is broken, we're making a new extreme. We don't always. And this made a new extreme, that made a new extreme. So that is a failure, but it's below the EMA. I expect it to come up a little bit, but how far? Maybe just enough. I don't know, things are looking down. EMA's flat, sort of slightly downwards. I'm not interested in anything at the moment. Having said that, there may hidden second entry short. I'd say as we've pushed in and rejected and we've pushed up again, there's quite likely going to be some shorts there. Because if you're thinking the market's going down, maybe an area to go short. So if we can push up and maybe break these areas, then we may end up then moving in an upward position and retesting this line, but who knows? I would say it's likely, because we are getting these quick short pushes down, but then they're stopping and losing momentum. And sometimes after such a big move up, where do we open? Such a big move up, you'd think it would come down quite quick. So where do we've been down as low as here? Let's say here, that was a spike, so I'm not really interested in that. Yeah, we're sort of up 60, 65 points at the moment, but we have, you know, we've been up. So that's a short failure there, which is triggered. Let's see if this comes down. I have to try and get out of my head that we're definitely going to make a new long. Sometimes I can get focused on these things too much, and I'm looking for any opportunity to go long. But at the moment, price is coming down, so I need to just you know, trade this, or at least watch it as we're moving down. I mean, we've had multiple tests of this area and the bottom as well. So at the moment we're moving down. We may just not get up. We may not get up. In fact, that failure is triggered, and it's likely it might get stopped out. So it just, who knows? We may eventually, you know, once we get above here, push up in another direction. Yeah, it's a slightly steeper angle or shallower angle. I don't know. But it's unpredictable at the moment, and it's quite choppy. Yeah, that's why I'm not getting in. See, it's triggered. I mean, it's below the EMA anyway. Would you really want to go long after all these pushes down? Risky, isn't it? I'd say that if you went long there, I'd say your position's in jeopardy there. They ain't going to let you get away with that. It is possible we could end up, you know, sort of moving up in that sort of direction. Possible second, I don't know, maybe. I like to put these sometimes, just out of curiosity. See, it is possible that you may have said we've had a break. See, pushes down to a new low. That's possible. Break. See, pushes down to a new low. Okay, guys, I don't like what's happening here. I think I'm going to knock it on the head today, I think. At least I'm green. First day on the PA accounts. And another evaluation, so I don't want to get suckered into here trying to go long, and I'm not mega keen on going short here really either, because it may turn around and push higher, although it's looking quite bearish. But it's not something I want to get into really. I want to wait for a nice setup, and I just think everything's just risky there. So that is it for me for the day. I shall be back on time tomorrow. Now I know you guys have moved into your summertime. We'll be joining you in a couple of weeks, so it's better for me actually being here a bit earlier. It's just an hour, I got to wait less. So that's a lot for today. Don't forget, we've still got that on for, I believe it finishes. Let me just check. Yeah, it finishes in 7 days and 10 hours. So midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight, 7 days from midnight. Yeah, 7 days from midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight. So there's my code there. As you know, I get a kickback, but it doesn't cost you anything more. So if you do use it for evaluation, it is much appreciated. And everybody that has used it, it does really help me. It gives me that little bit of extra cash so I can get away with working just the weekends, and I can trade here Monday to Friday. So there you go. Good day at the office. I haven't done anything stupid. I've not seen anything great, to be honest with you. It's been quite a bit of sideways. It's been a push up a little bit of chop, another push up, bit of chop. So it's not been the easiest trading day, but we've had, this is something we're starting to get used to now. Yesterday, or the first part of yesterday before the market opened, was a great day for me. It's the most I've ever physically taken in a day, although it was on an evaluation, but that's nonetheless, it helped me comfortably get to where I wanted to be. So just now and again, we have moments of clarity, and we have some really nice setups. The only slightly downside there is when they happen in front of your eyes, you're almost in disbelief, and sometimes you're tending to think to yourself, this can't be that easy. There's got to be a catch. So anyway, so I'm going to go off and enjoy my evening. Remember, I'm not trading this Friday or Monday. I'm taking a trip down south to Winchester. If any of you history guys out there knows, Winchester used to be the capital city a long time ago, before London. So it's got a rich history. It's got an amazing cathedral there, which is 900 years old, and there was one that predates that, which was 500 years old. So it's a fantastic place. If you ever get over the UK, some of you US guys, you've got to go to Winchester. It's an amazing place. Beautiful nightlife, some lovely little bars, and, you know, black and white bars, and obviously the cathedral. So it's a great place to visit. So I won't bore you anymore. So that's it today. Good day at the office. No losses. We're in the green. Nice start for the day. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking on your first PA account after you previously lost one. But there you go. So if you're carrying on trading, best of luck. I hope something comes up for you. But that is me done and dusted until tomorrow. So stay safe. Have a great evening. And I will meet up with you again